So, you want to get into running in 2025? You've come to the right place. Now, I am not a professional, okay? I have the most average running times, okay? I'm not good at running, okay? But I'm going to tell you how to get into running for 2025. Now, again, not a trained professional. I don't know what I'm talking about, but let's just chat, shall we? Now, first things first, you need to find motivation. Now, the way I do this, and I do this with pretty much everything ever, is I make a Pinterest board. Trust me, if you don't have Pinterest, download it. Literally, what are you doing? Download it right now. Right now. I'm not joking, okay? We're gonna make a Pinterest board. You're gonna call it running. You're gonna put a cute little emoji next to the running name. And you are going to make a beautiful board of all these pretty pictures, the running vibe. You already know, okay? That is step one. We need some motivation. Plus, it shouldn't be that hard since literally everyone in the universe apparently started running the past couple years. So it should be pretty easy to find some motivation. Step two is don't set yourself up for failure, okay? Look, there's all these sorts of crazy challenges, okay? There's the 75 hard challenge. There's people running marathons that have done zero training. Now, it's cool and fun to watch from afar, but that is just a speed run to getting injured. Isn't it, really? Like, it's just a bit silly. Something like the 75 hard challenge as well. I feel like if you are to do that, it's something you have to build yourself up to. If you never work out, if you don't eat that well, and then you just shock your body and then you're exercising for an hour and a half every day and you're eating clean. Obviously, eating clean is good for your body, but just that much vigorous exercise is not a good idea when your body is not prepared for it and you literally speed run to injury, okay? So let's not set ourselves up for failure. So you're gonna start slow. Okay? You're gonna be bad at it, and that's just something you have to come to terms with. It's gonna be hard. Sometimes you're not gonna enjoy it, and that's just what running is. Sometimes it sucks. It does. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to make it sound like this amazing thing because it is amazing, but it sucks sometimes, okay? So let's just get that right out of the way. It does suck sometimes. The best option is to start slow. Now, I have always used the app called Runner. No, this isn't sponsored. It's just what I've always used, and it will create these sort of running plans for you depending on where you're at. Now, full transparency, the first time I did a running training plan, I did the couch to 5K, and I really struggled with it the first time I did it. I'm surprised I even finished the run, to be honest. But the second time around I did it, because then I had a break from running for a while and then went to go do it again, it was a lot easier. So it will get easier, but it does suck to begin with. So your first type of runs will be stuff like 2 minutes walking, 1 minute running, 1 minute running, 2 minutes walking. It'll be then like 3 minutes running, 2 minutes walking, and you work your way up. There's no need for you to just be going straight out the ballpark doing 7 kilometer, 8 kilometer runs when you're not prepared for it, and all you're gonna do is hurt yourself. Now, as I did already say, I do use the app Runner. So I think when you're getting into running, it's super important to have some sort of running plan. Now, the reason this is important is because there are many different types of runs. There's tempo runs, there's easy runs, there's long runs, there's like paced runs. I just think it's really important to have some sort of plan, to kind of prevent injury in a way, because you're not doing so much on your body, because you're keeping it like you're doing an 8 kilometer long run, but then your next run will be like a 4 kilometer easy run. Like, it's important to know when to put on the brakes and slow down a little bit. I've always used Runner. Now, it is not free, okay? It's $30 a month Australian. So it's quite expensive for an app, but I feel like it's really worth it, and it's just so easy because it'll come up with everything I need in the app. I don't have to do anything apart from running, which is probably the hardest part of it, really, but I have always recommended that to people. A running plan just makes such a difference. Again, if you don't have the money and you just want to start slow, you can obviously find stuff on Pinterest or just literally search up couch to 5K and it'll come up with different runs that you can do. I have just found personally that runner worked really, really well for me. Now, I think it's super important that once you do start running, you do have to invest in a good pair of shoes. I would sit here and recommend you shoes. I would tell you the shoes I wear. I would totally recommend going to somewhere that specializes in it because everyone's feet are different, and depending on the type of runs you do is going to be dependent on the type of shoes you need. Like a marathon runner is not going to need the same shoes as someone that does the average weekly 5-kilometer run. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's super important. I know they're expensive, but invest the money, save your shins, your ankles, your knees. I personally have worn Hoka's in the past and I can't remember what I'm wearing now. I want to say New Balance, but I'm actually not sure. Now, I do like Hoka's. They are quite expensive, and I do notice that when I was doing longer distances, it was hurting my feet, but then someone else will tell you the exact opposite. So, you know, it's really just person to person. Invest in a pair of running shoes. If you're going to watch reviews or listen to people that talk about running shoes, make sure it's not a paid promotion because people lie to you. This one's actually super important, funnily enough. The time of day you go for a run. Okay, I was a morning running person for the longest time, but I found that I would get such bad stitches. It was unbearable, and I literally could not keep running, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Since I've started running in the evening now, I usually run about 5:30, 6 p.m. I sometimes will get a stitch, but nowhere near as frequently as I was in the morning. Now, I don't know why. I don't know if there's any scientific reason for that. It works for me. So I'm thinking it's super important to have a set kind of time of day you run, because then, you know, whether you want to get it over and done with in the morning before you go to work, because a lot of people when they get home from work will not want to go for a run, which is fair. Like, I get it. I wouldn't want to either, but I do. But my point is if you know you're not going to do it when you get home from work, do it beforehand. Or you could even set it up so you're only really running on your days off, and then you have like one extra run in the week that you have to do before work, but then the other ones you can do on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? You just have to find a time schedule that works for you, but it does take some trial and error sometimes. Just saying. This one's super important to me, but changing up where you run. Now, when I first started running, the first like 4 or 5 months, I went to the same running track every single time. And then I got really sick of running, and I wonder why, because I was looking at the same 20 trees. Like, what was I thinking? Now I go and I try different running trails. A lot of the time I will just run around my neighborhood, but because I do break it up by going to different running paths and whatnot, it makes a huge difference. That is one of the biggest changes I've made in my new running journey that have actually made the biggest difference, because you are going to get bored running in the same continuous area. That being said, if you're running by yourself, obviously be vigilant. Don't go anywhere that's really, really secluded. Speaking of this, actually, if you run by yourself, we cannot be wearing over-the-head headphones where you can't hear anyone. That's so silly. I know, I wish we could. I wish we could do that with no concern in the world, but we can't. Okay, so please don't do that. Maybe get some earbuds so you can only have one in, or wear it and then have like one ear uncovered. A, so you can hear people around you, but B, also if you're running near streets and you're running across streets, you need to be able to hear if there's cars around you. I know you're checking, like obviously you're checking before you run over the road. I hope so. If you're not, that's really stupid and you should be checking. But I think it's really important that we are still listening, just on the off chance that we don't see someone and then they can, you know, honk their horn or something. Please just be really, really careful about this, because I see it all the time and it really stresses me out. My final piece of advice is getting someone to do it with you. This is such a game changer, to be honest, because when I first started running, I had no one really in my life that did running as well, or if I did, they were maybe up here with their pace and I'm like down here. Okay, it can be really fun if you have someone in your life that wants to start running as well, that are beginners as well. Just go for runs together. It doesn't have to be every single time, but it does actually make such a difference, and I have found that it helps me stick to an easy pace for longer, because I want to talk to them, and to be able to talk I have to run at a slower pace. So I actually find it a lot better for my easy runs to run with someone so that I'm kind of keeping myself distracted while running, especially since I have started getting up to longer distances. Again, I'm not running crazy distances, okay? I'm doing like 7 kilometers, 6 kilometers. I'm not a marathon runner, and I don't think I ever will want to be honest, because I find it really, really hard to keep my brain distracted while I'm running. So I just find it super important to have someone to talk to. I usually listen to podcasts. Most people will listen to music. I know the people I run with listen to music. I just like podcasts because I like people speaking to me, and also I feel like with songs you can always kind of time out how long you've been running, whereas with a podcast I have no idea. So I just find it a lot easier, which some people will not. That's just a personal preference. I have also listened to audiobooks before, but I have noticed that I will forget what happened in that book if I listen to it while I run. So, maybe take that advice with a bit of a grain of salt. But that is everything I have for you guys today. I hope some of it was useful, but I feel like sometimes we just need to sit down and get a little bit of a reality check that it's not gonna always be fun and amazing, but let me tell you, it helps my mental health, it helps my sleep schedule. I hope you guys actually want to start running. There is a lot of positives to it, but we just, sometimes you need discipline and not motivation. So the discipline is more important than being motivated to do it. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye! If you have any questions, you know where the comments are.